Back here with you for part 2 of our Learn to Play series. And in this video, we're going to just unbox The Battle Begins, and we're going to kind of go through what's inside the box. This video will be pretty quick and brief, just kind of discussing quickly what we've got there, and from there we'll proceed to the next video, which will start breaking down what each kind of card is, and then from there we'll step into setting up your first game. So to begin, we just go ahead and open the box up. So we've got the upper lid here, which you can kind of see. Basically, that's kind of give you an example of the art. That's Lord Oathkey right on the cover there. And then it says The Battle Begins. Once we get inside there, you'll find the rules book. I went ahead and unshrink wrapped all of this. In a new game, you'll find that the decks are still shrink wrapped. The box would be shrink wrapped. I just wanted to save us a little bit of time. And so basically, we have a basic rules guide here. The basic rules guide just teaches you the core components of things, such as like what's on the symbols on the cards, a little bit of the story, which I kind of outlined in the first video, the card anatomy, the keywords you'll find, and then just a little bit about the turn sequence and what a command window is. We'll get into all of that in later videos here, as well as talking about the battlefield and the play zones, which I have laid out on a play mat below us here. Some attack examples, and then from there, just a little bit more information about the world and index, and then probably the part that most players are going to appreciate the most. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's basically a quick reference chart of the turn, as well as giving you a quick reference chart to all the different symbols you can find on the cards. Hopefully this is probably the part that most users find most valuable when they're playing their first few games, is using this as a reference for what's going on. And don't be daunted by the number of steps in a turn. A lot of this is really easy and flows together really smooth, and you'll see as we start playing. Alright, so obviously this would normally be shrink wrapped up, and so we'd have the two decks, one on each side, the Jotun and the Scythian. And there's more than a single deck of cards here. There's actually 90 cards on each side for 180 cards total. However, what we want to teach players is that to start your first game, you're going to go ahead and take the bottom 30 cards off, and I just know where they end, so that helps. But basically, I'm going to take those bottom 30 cards, and I'm going to set those aside. Those are going to be used for deck construction later. When I want to build decks, I'm going to start looking at the different cards inside of here and making choices on what to improve in my strategy. That kind of gives you a general idea what's going on there. I'll do the same for the Scythian deck, just so you can see that they're worked out exactly the same way. And set the 60 cards aside. So we've got a couple of different things. Now, it has come to my attention since the release that some of these were not constructed properly, or in some cases, some people shuffled all the cards right away to begin with, and if so, you'll find the lists for these decks out on Sularia.com/rules. So it's SULARIA.com/rules. And you can go ahead and build the starter decks yourself by just going through and selecting the cards that we've indicated. All right, so now we'll set this aside. This little box doesn't have much for us. There is some information on the back as far as what the game is, contents, etc., etc. From there, we could take our 60 card decks and we can basically just shuffle these up, and we can start our first game with a friend. So the beauty of The Battle Begins is that literally everything inside it is there and ready for two players to play the game. If you wanted to add more players to the game, that's actually not a problem. It does require a second copy of the game for the other two players, or if you wanted to do a draft mode of play, which is a little different, it would probably be a pretty tough learning experience to begin with, but it's not impossible. You can take all these cards, including the spare 30 cards for the Jotun and the spare 30 cards for the Scythian, and you could shuffle them all up into a big bundle and deal out 3 packs to each player. We'll do a video on draft play in the near future and how to do that. So that basically covers this video and what we wanted to unbox. So the next video will go through the types of cards in the game and the types of costs, and then we'll do the video after that showing you how to set up for your first game. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.